I live in Kingman As now, but about 9 years ago I had a very strange experience. My boyfriend and I were riding our bikes late at night through Arcata. We rolled through a car wash, I forget what street, and there was a car parked at the spot where the car vacuum machines were. We rode right past and I glanced in the car. There was a man sitting in the driver's seat reading a newspaper. In the passenger seat was what looked like some kind of demonic creature. I'm talking horns, slimy skin with protruding veins, and the head and body were not human-shaped. It was beyond what a costume or body modification could achieve. The man reading the newspaper seemed oblivious. About a block away, I caught up to my boyfriend and asked if he saw what I saw. He said he didn't notice the car. He didn't believe me, so he rode back to check it out. Sure enough, he freaked out. He wouldn't even talk about it afterwards.
Once when I was on a light dose of mushrooms, I gave a very odd guy I met at a gas station a ride to a house pretty far away. I didn't think anything of it. But then like 3 years later, while on mushrooms again, I gave the same guy a ride to the same house, only to realize it was the same guy I gave a ride to before. I met him at a bar this time. The weird thing is, I live in a city and am very distrusting of strangers, even on mushrooms. But it felt like I was compelled to give him a ride. Like I didn't even think it was strange at the time. Only afterwards. Still freaks me out to this day.
I lived in an old house on the boarding school property while going to high school, and this house was a haunted place for sure. I experienced and saw and heard a lot of ghost-like and dark demonic-like spirits and activity that creeped me out. I found scratch marks on my body once, after hearing one of these beings screeching at me. The Hat Man made an appearance as well. I also struggled with a lot of sleep paralysis. When I moved, it all stopped and I was no longer terrorized or haunted by these ghosts or spirits. Whatever they were, most were no good, and I could always sense them, trying to induce a great amount of terror and fear in me, almost as if they were feeding off of it. Yuck! I realized it helped to not be afraid, so really worked hard to ignore them. And that helped somewhat, but it only just stopped once I moved.
I'm middle-aged now, but when I was a child, I would say between 4 and 10 years old roughly, I would have the most horrific night terrors every night. I don't really know what to call them, and a lot of this has either been repressed or lost to memory. But I do remember a lot of demonic sounding noises coming from all different areas of my room. I don't recall visually ever seeing anything. It was oral. Evil voices talking in hushed tones in a very rapid-fire manner, who in my extreme youth could only attribute to as generically evil, like coming from Satan or other assorted demons. So of course I was petrified of going to bed at night, and would beg my mom not to go to sleep herself until she knew I was asleep. So I think it was definitely a thing that if anybody else was up at night while I was in bed, the demon voices were not triggered. It was only after the adults went to bed, and the house was quiet, was when quite literally, all hell broke loose. My mom never seemed to give much credence to any of this and seemed to casually dismiss these fears I had of going to bed. Looking back on it now, I'm not sure what to think of it all. I read somewhere that night terrors are quite normal and common with some children, and it's basically a figment of their imagination. It may have had to do with some sort of abandonment fears I had as a kid. And this was how it manifested.
I have quite a few, but one that happened when I was a young kid came to mind recently. I was staying at my grandparents' house, sleeping on the couch in their living room. This sounds so goofy and weird, but here goes. As I was laying there trying to sleep, which was always hard for me, I saw tiny dark humanoids the size of a small ant if it stood up. They were walking in a line on the coffee table. It seemed like they had a leader guiding them somewhere. The leader was like waving its arms around like in a directional way. I remember looking right at them, and they were not scared of me. It kind of freaked me out, and I hid under my blankets and fell asleep. In the morning I was looking for the little dudes, but never found them. I swear I know this sounds made up, but it happened a few times.
The college I went to was over 100 years old. There was a lot of paranormal activity. In my sister's dorm room there was a closet with an old-time latch. You turned the knob and it opened or closed with a loud clack, but you couldn't keep it closed, and it would open silently. As long as you looked at it, it would be closed, but the moment you blinked or something broke your vision of it, like someone walking in front of you, it would be open about an inch. We did an experiment where 5 of us watched as one person closed the closet. We tried not to blink or look away, but in less than a minute we all saw it open. The surprising thing is that at one point 2 of us saw it open and the others saw it still closed.